Hey guys, Chris here again, and in this video we're going to talk about thinking like a freelancer, because if you just dive into this and just throw up your profile, you may miss some important things that you need in order to be successful doing freelancing. Now, this is a wonderful opportunity and a great time to be a freelancer, but there are some things you need to consider before diving in. So first, let's talk about the advantages of freelancing. Now, you can work from home or anywhere else if you're one of those people that likes to work on the beach or at a coffee shop or whatever, but you can work wherever there is Wi-Fi for the most part. You can work as much or as little as you want. So if you are happy with a certain income level or a certain amount of work, then you can do that. You can choose how much you do or do not do. You only take the kind of work you want to do. Sometimes at a job, we're given tasks that we don't like, and we do it because our boss tells us to. You don't have to do much of that, if any, as a freelancer. You don't have a boss or anyone that you have to report to. So if you decide to take the day off and play video games or go to the beach or hang out with your friends or whatever it is that you want to do, you don't have to answer to anyone. If you want to sleep in, if you want to, whatever it is you want to do, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. You make your own hours. Perhaps you're the kind of person that likes to sleep till noon and work till, 10. That's fine. If you want to get up at 2 a.m. and work till noon, that's also fine. Whatever best fits you. And we may talk about that later in the course, but figure out what works for your DNA and just do it. You can do it as a full-time job. Like, you can make your entire income doing freelancing if you so choose, or you can do it as a side hustle if you have a full-time job and you just want to make an extra $100 a week or something on the side. That's perfectly fine too. A lot of people just do that. You don't have to invest anything up front. It's not like a traditional business where you have to raise capital and get an office and all these things. All you really need is a computer and a Wi-Fi connection, and I guess a little bit of things that you know how to do, but we'll be talking about that later as well. And you can start today. Like, you can literally have your first sale within an hour if you do things right. Not saying you will, but it's possible you can start making money right away. Unlike a lot of other businesses where it takes time to start getting people in the door. So those are kind of the advantages and kind of how you need to think about your new lifestyle as a freelancer. Some other things to consider is your job isn't necessarily to do what it is that you offer, although you need to do that as well. Suppose that you're offering like graphic design. You need to work more on keeping clients and customers coming in so you have a steady income, as opposed to just doing the graphic design work. You have to do that too. Fulfillment is important, and the better job you do, the more business you'll likely get. But your main job is to keep business coming in. That's where I've seen a lot of freelancers fail, is that they don't spend time treating this like a business that they have to grow in order to keep getting sales and money coming in. And the other thing is, your time is limited. Don't let your quality suffer. In the previous slide, I said that you can take on as much or as little as you want, and that's absolutely true. But what a lot of people do when they start having some success and a bunch of sales start rolling in, they don't want to say no to anything, and that's understandable because you want to make as much money as possible. But there's a finite amount of time, especially if you're doing everything yourself. So don't sacrifice your quality in order to make more sales, because you're just going to hurt yourself in the long run. If it comes to that, you get somebody to help you out or whatever, but we'll talk about that later as well. So, and then you just kind of need to shift your thinking, If you have a job or you're just leaving one or anything like that, your experience is in a traditional office or business setting, you're going to be used to having people tell you what needs to be done that day and when it has to be done by and things like that. It doesn't really work that way for you anymore. In your new lifestyle, the way that you need to start thinking is that you are the boss and you are the person that has to decide what needs to be done that day and what the priority is and things like that. So you now have total freedom and total control, and you don't have to have somebody feeding that to you, but you need to remember that you also need to set that up for yourself. You don't with a job, you have to start and stop at a certain time. Generally, that's like 8 or 9 to 5 or 6. And if you do that, with this, you don't have to think like that. You can just pick whatever hours work best for you. You choose to start and stop at a certain time, but you needed to set up certain times that you're going to work specifically on growing your freelancing business and fulfilling the work that you bring in. In a job, somebody else, like I said, somebody else gives you the work. So That means that if you work in, I don't know, whatever type of job you have, there's somebody out there making the sales or generating the leads or bringing in the things that lead to the tasks that you're going to do. For example, I used to work as we'll call it a computer installation technician. And I just went out and installed the computers and the other systems that were sold. It wasn't up to me to keep the work coming in, and I never thought about how the work did come in. To me, I was happy when there was less of it to do. This is not how that's not how your life works anymore as a freelancer. You have to go out and find the work and fulfill it. So keep that in mind. Think about how you are now the one in charge of getting yourself more business. Although you can mitigate some of that by using marketplaces, and we're going to talk about that in the next video, but you do have to be responsible for making sure that you have enough business coming in. And all of the main point I'm trying to say here is the freedom of being a freelancer. You can see that they both have free in them, and that's not a coincidence. The freedom that comes with being a freelancer also comes with the responsibility of making sure that you have enough business and you have the right routine and the right systems in place to manage it as a business. Now, it's a business that's really fun and it gives you a lot of flexibility and freedom, but you need to start thinking of it as a business and not just something that you do as a hobby. Although it's perfectly fine if you want to just do this as a hobby, but if you want to make some real money, you're going to have to shift your thinking and think of freelancing as your new way of life. I know that might sound intimidating, but it will lead you to freedom and happiness more than any other thing, any other type of income that you could possibly do. All you have to do is do the things that we're going to talk about throughout the rest of the course and start making some money. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview of how you need to think as a freelancer and kind of shift some perceptions that you might have and remind you of what some of the advantages of your new lifestyle are. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, ask in the Facebook group, and I'll talk to you soon.